Yes, guys, the big fight this weekend. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin at Wembley. It's a huge fight. It's a huge fight because Joshua has to win. If we are going to get the super fight we all asked for, Joshua against Wilder, Joshua against Fury, and whoever other heavyweights want to come and fight Anthony Joshua, whether it's Dylan White, Derek Chisora, maybe Parker in the future, again, Joshua has to win. For me, it's not a foregone conclusion because in heavyweight boxing, it really only takes one punch. We know Joshua has been rocked in the past. He was rocked against Dylan White in one of his earlier professional bouts, and when he fought Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley, a fight that of course he won again, but he was put down. And it showed that Joshua had his frailties, he had his weaknesses that someone like Povetkin, whose only loss is to Klitschko, he's gonna look and try and take advantage of over at Wembley. But we saw a different Joshua, you could say, against Parker. He knows that Parker, he may not be a massive puncher, but he's a very seasoned professional. He's a very clever fighter and experienced fighter in the way that he fights. Even though he hasn't had many fights, and neither had Joshua himself, the way that he fights is very tactical and technical. And Joshua kind of just stayed at arm's length to make sure he didn't get involved in any brawls. It didn't make for a very pretty fight because of that, but he did what he needed to do. And I think Joshua, again, will do what he needs to do. He probably needs a knockout win to kind of rubber stamp his authority on the division again. It's been a while since we've seen a convincing Joshua win at this level, and I think he's going to put Povetkin down and knock him out before the 12 rounds. I'm going for probably around the 10th round, a 10th round knockout for Anthony Joshua, and that will set it up perfectly for an April fight against one of the big three remaining heavyweights that I mentioned. Now, of those big heavyweights, there's talk about Wilder against Fury happening in December. From the moment I heard this, I said it's not happening, and it's not happening now. That is a farcical fight. You've gone from being out of boxing for God knows how long. That's Tyson Fury, for about 3 years, after he beat Vladimir Klitschko to win his belts, to fighting a bum on your return to the WBC champion in Deontay Wilder, one of the biggest punchers in the division. That's not going to happen. For me, that was a tactical ploy they tried to draw out Joshua, because when they said the fight was made, the first thing they both did, Anthony Joshua, AJ, this is how you do it, this is professional. When you want to have the big fights, this is how you get it done, you don't run, etc. That was months ago. How come this fight is not done and signed yet? Because it's not happening. The whole thing's a farce. Eddie Hearn said it, I've said it from the moment. This fight is a farce. And if Deontay Wilder does fight Tyson Fury in December, I expect him to win. For me, it doesn't even mean anything because Tyson Fury is not at his optimum. Anthony Joshua said, yeah, I'm happy to fight Fury. And that would be a massive fight. Two British heavyweights. Tyson Fury, who many say is the king heavyweight because he hasn't lost his belts. It was only because of his issues out of the ring. If that fight happens between Anthony Joshua, it's going to happen when Tyson Fury is at his best. And that would be a brilliant fight. But first and foremost, Joshua needs to take care of Povetkin, and we'll see how the other heavyweights go on between now and April when the next fight for Anthony Joshua is booked. Moving on further, Floyd Mayweather. He's speaking about coming out of retirement for one final fight. Everyone always says that final fight. When is it ever going to be the final fight? But he wants to get the outright record of undefeated wins. He's on 50-0 at the moment after beating Conor McGregor in that infamous fight a couple years ago, and he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao again. It will be a rematch, you could say. One that, for me, Mayweather again is going to be favourites. Pacquiao hasn't been very convincing since that fight against Mayweather. He has lost since then as well. But if that fight is to happen, it's going to be a bumper pay-per-view, and I'll be excited to see it, to Mayweather to really cement, if he hasn't done it already, his place as the pound for pound king of boxing in history. More news in the athletics world, actually. Christian Coleman, he's the Olympic silver medalist at 100 meters, beating Usain Bolt in that famous final 100 meter race. He has run the fastest time in the world for 3 years, 9.79. This guy is young and he's ready to take this crown. In truth, he came second behind Justin Gatlin in the final, but Justin Gatlin is not getting any younger. We know that he's been around for a long time, even though he's been out of the sport due to drug issues. But Christian Coleman is here to take on the Baton, a Baton that Jamaica carried for so long under Bolt and Safa Powell and Johan Blake, but America's looking like they're coming to take it back when they were dominating in the late 90s and early 2000s. And Christian Coleman looks like he is the one to do that. Let me know in the comments below what you think about everything discussed today. Is Anthony Joshua one step away from that unification fight with Deontay Wilder next year? He just has to get past Povetkin first. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.